Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel to All Movies, and today we are going to be talking about the movie Send Help. My god, I saw this movie last night, and what can I tell you, Sam Raimi did it again. He brought his campy horror vibe element on this horror film. Because if you've seen like the movie like Castaway, or mix in like with let's say like another kind of horror movie that Sam Raimi does, like with Evil Dead and stuff. Um, like I said, you're gonna get this vibe of like that. Because with this, everyone always thinking like, man, what happens if I get trapped in an island with my boss? Like, man, that's gonna be a terrible idea. But with this is what they do. This like gives you thoughts of like, man, how could I survive with my boss, or how could he or she could survive with me and stuff. But I'm telling you, this film, have you seen Sam Raimi's films before? Of course, like everyone knows the Spider-Man, but I'm talking about before that, like his Evil Dead with the campy horror elements. He's gonna bring that on this film. I'm telling you, this is gonna be not just like anything like big like other stuff like horror films, like oh it's like murder scenes and stuff like that. No, it's gonna be like mainly like I want to say I can't seem to say it. But it's gonna mess with your mind. I'm telling you this. This is like using your imagination on this film. That's what I love about this kind of films when they do is like the imagination instead of like showing everything about this. But I'm feel like I'm getting way too ahead of myself because like I'm telling you, this movie was really great for me. But before I tell you that, is so it's like Rachel and Dylan. They're both of their characters. Like at the beginning of the film, you see okay, Rachel is like her character Linda. She's a hardworking person. She's like a good person, nice person. She just wants to be talking to her coworkers, like asking for her dates and stuff. But people are like, when you work with your coworker, you're like have that annoying coworker, and you're like, I don't know, I don't want to talk to you and stuff like that. And of course, like Dylan's character, his boss, the boss, you have that boss that's like, man, it's like he's an asshole boss. I was like, man, I'm just want to do my work. He's always bossing me around, this and that. But then one scene like for Rachel's character Linda, like my god, like everyone's like seems to pick on her because she seems like the weak one and stuff and like that. But my god, once the plane starts crashing, she's stuck on the island with her boss. Things changes a lot because like in one scene, she's watched shows called The Survivor, and she's like, oh man, like I'm trying to, I bet I could do this, I could do that. And my gosh, she does all that what she's talking about in the island stuff. She goes hunting, she makes a little like hammock bags and stuff, and she survives while her boss is complaining that his foot's hurt and stuff and he can't do anything and he can't seem to survive. And she tells him, well, you can't seem to survive a day without me and stuff, because like you're not the boss here anymore. You're not in charge and stuff. So you can't be bossing me around, that kind of stuff. But of course, in the beginning, you see Linda. She become her thing with becoming the strong survivor and stuff. Like you see her, she's changing. Her character seems to change. Like her character development is growing and stuff. But then later on, you get into the middle of the film and stuff, and you're like, okay, now I gotta be careful what I'm thinking. Am I rooting for Linda, or am I going for Dylan's character, the boss? Because then you kind of see how it plays out, especially since they're stuck in the island for months. Because like you're like, oh wait, am I, am I gotta be careful who I'm choosing now, because like in one scene, like I said, it's mainly like using your mind, your imagination. Because in one part of the film, like gave me goosebumps and gives everyone goosebumps, me and my friend, it gave her goosebumps. Like that one scene involves like she feeds her boss this octopus, and then it involves with like his nerves shut down stuff. But I'm not gonna spoil anything because I don't want to spoil anything too much of this film. But like I said, you're just using your imagination on what's happening when she's trying to threaten him and stuff, or like give him a warning and stuff. And you kind of see that it's like you're giving like, oh my god, is this really happening? It's like, oh man, it's really, oh. And then it's like reveals that like, oh my god, this messes with my mind. It's like, what the hell just happened? But that's what is really good. It's like I feel like you don't see films like that so much as often like before and stuff. You usually like see everything shows in right away and stuff. And but like I said, that's mainly like the positive stuff that I liked about this film. Like there's so much stuff that happens. Like there's mainly my positive stuff. The negative, I don't have too many negatives. Is the main negative is like okay, the CGI part. Like you could tell like the CGI doesn't look great, or you could really tell that it's mainly like some few island parts is CGI. The board parts island, the board is CGI. The island surrounding stuff is CGI. There's so many scene parts that were so CGI that didn't like about that part. And yeah, there was like one or two jump scares and all, but that's like all right and stuff. But other than that, most of the stuff is like I said, Sam Raimi did his work on this like so amazing, like with the campy horror element. But there is times, like I said, you tend to forget that this is a horror movie because you're like, am I watching like the movie Castaway, or am I watching one of Sam Raimi's horror films? Because like yeah, it's like everyone recognized Sam Raimi as a big horror director because of Evil Dead and Drag Me to Hell. But there is few other films, like of course Spider-Man is one of his non-horror elements movie, and of course Doctor Strange 2, and so many other movies that he's directed that aren't just horror films. But yes, he does use his horror element in few scenes in some films of his movies that he directs. But with this one, you could see that as well, because like of course like everyone's gonna be like, man, this is a horror because I'm stuck on an island with my boss. That's a big horror. That's very scary to think about and stuff. But like I said, it's not just that. It's like how you're gonna survive and stuff on when you're stuck on an island. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you make it more than a day? Because like I said, for Dylan's character, he's like he couldn't survive with Linda, and without her, he probably would have died a few days ago. But he survived thanks to her and stuff. So that's kind of like the stuff that you have to think about and stuff. Like I said, most of the scene is like with your mind and stuff. But for the ending scene, I know some people are gonna try to compare it to like M Night Shyamalan's like plot twist, which I don't think is just like a plot twist. There is like, oh my god, what the fuck just happened and stuff, like really kind of moment and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say it's like a big plot twist or anything. You're just like shocked as like really this happened and stuff. But other than that, like I said, like once you get to the ending and stuff, like you're seeing the both of the boss and employees going up against each other and stuff. Like you see how the relationship went to like okay to like good and bad, and like good and much better, then went bad, and then again bad and stuff. So you're just gonna have to wait and see later on, most to the end, because I know some people are just expecting was there a plot twist, what just happened and stuff. But like I said, other than that, it's just like the film is really entertaining and stuff. That's all it was mainly important, that you're being entertained. But other than that, like I said, for me, I give this film a 9 out of 10, because like there's so many great stuff. Like I'm telling you, you should check out this film because it's worth it to watch in theaters, especially with all this stuff. Like I said, that I can't seem to say it's psychology. My bad, but like I said, stuff that will mess with your mind. That's like, oh my god, it's like that shit scary and stuff, and it's like you see other people's around you in theaters seeing their reactions too. But like I said, it's pretty good and stuff. I'm not going too far to spoil so much other stuff because like you have to watch this film. But other than that, that is all I have. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see the movie. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you not like about it? Have you seen others of Sam Raimi's films besides the Spider-Man and Evil Dead? But other than that, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.